Alright everyone, welcome back. Well, as you can see, we're here again with the PS3, and I just step you back, zoom you in a little bit. You can see down in the bottom right here, flashing red light. So I'll demonstrate that again. So you can see it's a solid red light now. Green, blue, then it flashes yellow, and flashes red. So again, it's a yellow light of death. That was the initial problem with this console. I replaced I replaced one of the NEC token capacitors with four new capacitors. Forget exactly which model they are, but I'll show you here in a second. And it worked for 2.5, 3 weeks, something like that, before I ran into this problem again. That's Bo. Say hi to Bo. All right. But yeah, it worked for about 3 weeks or so, and as you can see, it's not working anymore. So I had heard that could happen, that it could just be the one NEC token capacitor. You may have to replace all of them. So I bought enough to do that, and I guess that's what we'll be doing today. So I'll bring you back to the bench. All right, so back on the bench. It has been quite a while since I took this apart. A couple months, easy. I mean, this was pre-COVID and everything, so pre-human malware, I should say. So let's get to it. Take this off. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Should get. I'll use that for now. How's everybody doing? How's everybody been? Been a little while since we talked, since we chitty chatted. Been all right. I was thoroughly enjoying this guy for about 3 weeks or so. And actually, I was watching a movie last time this was used, if I remember correctly. Watching a Blu-ray. So let's see if you can guess what that Blu-ray was. I'll give you a clue. It's a series. Oops. By series, I mean many movies. I believe there are 8 in the series. 8 movies. And it is on Blu-ray, like I said, although Blu-ray didn't exist when the first movie came out. There's another clue for you. It is in the horror genre. However, it's pretty comedic, I would say. It's not super scary. But I've loved them since forever. I find them wickedly entertaining. What else can I say about the movies? One of them takes place in Vegas. It's actually the third one. in the series that takes place in Vegas. Yeah, I'll leave you with that. I was thoroughly enjoying that God of War game I showed you until this decided to stop working. Alright, what else do I have to unplug? I should unplug this. Like I said, it's been a while, so I don't remember exactly what needs to come undone and what doesn't. Okay, that's the Blu-ray drive. I can feel the ribbon cable under there. Definitely want to unplug this guy. Unscrew these. Yeah, I was enjoying the God of War game. I was a couple hours into the first one. One thing I did notice, which I don't know if I mentioned before, is I ordered the God of War Saga collection for PS3, the HD Remaster collection, because I thought that it came with 5 games, first 3 games, and then the 2 for the PSP. And technically it did. However, the 2 remakes for the PSP were digital copies. Yeah, there's a voucher in the collection. And those digital copies expired many moons ago. So I indeed only got 3. That still appears to be stuck down. Aha, there's a screw underneath. Oh, that's right. So these 2 pegs here, those just plug in right over there. That's what was keeping that plugged in. I do remember this back plate comes off somehow. This slid off, if I remember correctly. There's that red mark with that screw, which does need to come off, but I'll leave that for now. Here we're going to take off. Can you see that okay? Yeah. Just the antenna for the wireless. I should actually probably leave that plugged in. I don't remember exactly which one that was. I think it was this one. I don't know that that has to come unplugged, so I'm going to leave it plugged in. But in case you're wondering, as I was saying, the God of War collection I got comes with the first 3, and they're remastered in glorious HD. But they do make the other 2 games separate, and they are remastered in their own collection for PS3. So eventually I'll have to order that as well. So I'm a huge fan of the series. Alright, so don't remember exactly how this comes up. It's plugged in right there, so tilt it towards me. And the bail, if I believe, yeah. So it's right here. I'm gonna lift that guy up. It's one of the flipping ones. Set that aside. You remember this, either I broke or the person who opened this before me, because it was open before me, broke it. Either way, it was broken. So I figured out a way to attach it simply by cutting off the ends of the piece of plastic and shoving it into the slot in here with the ribbon cable lodged underneath it. Totally worked. And then I secured it with some high temp tape, some Captain tape. So I'm gonna flip that little bail up. Be very careful with these, they're super fragile. Unscrew these. Some other games I've been looking at for PS3, since this is a PS3 video, are this is your Wi-Fi card, by the way, I didn't already say that, and probably Bluetooth. Pretty sure it's also your Bluetooth chip. Anyway, my wife is a big fan of the, hey, you can see the capacitors, of the Tomb Raider series of games. She hasn't played a lot of them, but she said she really enjoyed playing them. So there's a remastered collection for the PS3. It's like the first 3 games, I think. So I'll pick that up. Definitely Ratchet and Clank, which I think I mentioned in the other video. I love those games. I just beat the sort of reboot for the series on PS4 a little while ago. That was really fun. That last boss was really fun. In my opinion, it's exactly what a last boss should be. It was challenging, but it wasn't so difficult that I didn't want to play the game. And I just play on normal difficulty on most games. At least the first time through. So whatever Ratchet and Clank games are on PS3, I'll pick those up. Definitely excited for the new one on PS5. Although I think this may be the first generation I get Microsoft's console before Sony's. And that's almost entirely based on the fact that Microsoft is prioritizing backwards compatibility, whereas Sony is not. And that's really important to me. Obviously, we gotta wait and see till it comes out to know exactly what's going on there. However, from what I've seen, what I've heard, what I've read, near full backwards compatibility all the way back to the OG Xbox. Which would be amazing. Throw in something like Death Row for the OG Xbox, or Fable, which I've been playing those games on PC. The Fable Anniversary. Played that a lot this weekend. So it'd be great to just throw it in there and have it upscale the graphics. Okay, so I don't remember at which point this comes out. But it looks like it's free now. Oh, that's just the lid for the hard drive. All right, cool. Should have taken the hard drive out first. The hard drive is located just right there, so. Right there where that blue screw is. Should be able to undo that blue screw. This is a little attachment for the drill by Snappy Tools. So you just pull it back, pull out your bit, and you can put a smaller one in there. You just slide it right in there, it's locked. Snappy Tools USA, I believe, is the name of the company. I'll link that in the description. Their products are made here in the USA. So I thought that was pretty neat. That's the only piece of kit of theirs that I have, but I've seen they have like a whole set, which would be cool. And then this I'm just gonna pull right off, just because it kind of gets in the way. Oh, okay, I remember now. You see that? Yeah. So it slides this way, and then you can pull it out. Like that. Pull it right out. If you remember, this is not the drive it came with. It's a drive that I put in there. But it's a WD black 500 gig. What's really nice about that is Sony didn't do anything proprietary, which is pretty shocking. If you're familiar with like the PSP and their proprietary memory cards or a lot of other things Sony does, it's pretty surprising. So it's pretty awesome they didn't do that this time with the PS3. Just toss in a new drive and it'll prompt you to format it. You format it, everything's good. Not sure how large they support, but I can tell you for sure 500 gigs is supported. Alright, so this comes up, and this was the tricky part. Well, one of the many tricky parts. So this I have taped on there. Be very careful with these ribbon cables. Incredibly fragile. It just tilts right out, so I'm just gonna maneuver it. Sorry if I'm blocking the shot, but this is very strangely placed in there. Makes perfect sense, but it's just kind of a pain. I don't want to tear the ribbon cable, of course. There we go. Okay, there's that sheet. And I wonder if I can just leave this on. Because on the other side, where you have your fan, your graphics card or graphics chip, CPU chip, those are underneath there, and I don't want to repaste them if I don't have to. I think I'll just leave it like that. Should probably take off these ribbon cables though. Again, there's a little bail under there. Click it, toss that aside. This one's taped in there. I'm just gonna get out of the way so I don't damage it. And it's just taped with that Captain tape, which I have plenty more if I need to replace it. It's basically just high temp tape. And then this is just slotted right in there. You can see it's actually in there pretty well. If I lift it up. Oh yeah, this is one of the ones that doesn't lift up. You gotta slide those pieces out, but those pieces off so I can get it in there. So I gotta kind of get at it all weird. You can see it's separating right there. That's what I want. There we go. Definitely make sure I save that. I'll show you where I clipped it. So you can see that it's like angled down. There's like a step down here on the left side. That's where it plugs in. And then here is where I clipped off little tiny pieces of plastic. And if you don't remember that, maybe you haven't watched my previous video. So, shout out to past me. Go give him a visit. And then down here are the NEC. The black one right there is the NEC token capacitor. There was another one right here, but I replaced it with those 4 yellow capacitors, which are these guys here. So they're 470 microfarad, 6.3 volt capacitors. Just picked them up on eBay. Come here, girl. My dog's terrified of the storms. There you go. There you go. Good girl. Okay. Shot's okay. Need a little bit more. All right, so here on the right here is where we're going to be working. Again, this is just there, not to keep them in place. They're soldered in place. This is just there so that they don't short. Nothing shorts out, which I don't think would happen anyway, but figured it couldn't hurt. So, get you in any closer, you'll see. I'll just lift the board, I suppose. Those little yellow guys, and you can see my very admirable soldering. I mean, really, Voltar, I heard he's back. Might need to watch it. Might be coming for him with that. Amazing work right there. In case you couldn't tell, that was a joke. I have very little soldering experience. The last time I soldered before this was a decade ago or so, 12 years ago. And I didn't do very much of it, but it worked. So I do have some new tools that I think will help me out. Where last time the board kept flopping around. If I do that though, thinking if I use that, I may need to take the board out of this metal bracket. Oh, let me clean this area up a little bit. Be right back. Alrighty, and we're back. I just got a little magnetic parts tray so I could save these screws. Always gotta keep your loose bits from dangling. Keep that in there. It's trash. Yeah. BRB, one more item needed. All right, back with a tub. Simple Rubbermaid or Sterilite or whatever brand, but just a simple tub. Just to hold my bits and my bobs that I don't currently need. It's not metal, so I'm not worried about anything shorting. Off a little bit. All right. I'm gonna move this guy out of the way. Might be time to set this up. I don't know. I've never used it, so. Last time the board was flopping around like mad. It was really making me mad. So picked up one of these Panavice. Fancy schmancy things off eBay. Never used it. Never even heard of it. Until I was looking for one. I found a totally different one on Amazon, but it's been out of stock forever. So I figured, well, why not give this one a try? And I think, is it rocking? Oh, it's missing a rubber feet. So let me pull the other ones off. Always get some new ones. So there are only 2 on here, and you can see there were 6 originally. There we go. So this is cast iron. They're actually made in Long Beach, California, apparently, which I did not know. It's pretty neat. These I can take off and flip around, which is what I'm going to need to do here. You can actually buy these whole pieces separate and get different ones for your base. So that's pretty neat. It's like a pretty big one. What is this? This is a 10 standard? Yeah, that'll do, pig. Never taken this apart, so I'm assuming this is all I have to do. Actually never even set it up until today. Just took it out of the box, wiped it off a little bit, and put it back in the garage. Yeah, that's perfect. So I'm hoping the board will fit in here. And if it doesn't, not a huge deal, because PS3 board is pretty huge. So when I'm working on some other things, I'm sure it'll fit and Sure, whatever other boards I'm working on will fit. Oops. What in the heck? Flip this guy around. There we go. So the only thing I don't like so far is this play here. I don't know if I can remedy that somehow, but it'll definitely be better than the PS3 board sliding all around. Does appear to be open all the way. So, can it fit? It does. It's going to be closing on the plastic housing of the fan and a piece back here, which I think will be fine actually. Just won't crank it down too much. Okay. What do you think? Oh, maybe not. All right. I think that'll be fine as long as I don't whack it. Okay. Also got this guy here. It's a Delcast S0L WST, and this is a soldering iron stand. So I opened it just to check it out real quick and then put it back, so I haven't used that either. Get that out of the way. Pretty simple. So you can see here, this is steel. Soldering iron is just going to rest in there. And it's Delcast. In case you're curious how it's spelled. Alright, so I looked it up. In the minute that I looked at it, I wasn't too sure how it attached. Basically, these little screws go in here. I don't lose them. And it attaches right here. So that's the first step. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get in there. drill anyway. I may need to get a different screwdriver. Yeah, it'll fit. So this is a PH2, Phillips 2. And of course that would happen. Got one in there a little bit. Just a wee bit. Wish they were magnetic. Aye. All right. Is there in there? It's a little loose because this guy's in the way. Gotta do it by hand with this guy. Or girl. I suppose this could be a female screwdriver. A lady screwdriver. Whichever you prefer. And this guy. And this is going to slide right in here. And if you take this little wing nut, I see. That allows it to pivot. Pretty cool. I don't know if that wing nut's necessary, but we'll toss her on. Listen to the teens. I think I want it more like that. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. So where we left off last time was with this lovely little soldering iron caddy. I think I got this put together off camera, but it was real simple. I was screwing these in, if I remember correctly, down here. That just limits the motion of this little post here, and then you attach the actual iron holder with that screw and that wing nut there. Pretty simple. This is going to slide right in the back here to hold some solder, and then this you can theoretically thread your soldering wire through there. I don't know if I'll use that or not, but speaking of solder, here's the solder I got. So some Kester leaded. I believe it's 6040. That's the info there if you needed it. Let's get this guy open. So I couldn't sleep the other night, and I was looking at some PS3 games online on eBay or whatever, and found all kinds of fun stuff. I think I was talking about the Tomb Raider Classic remaster in the last video because my wife enjoyed playing those games. The nice thing about the PS3 games is most of them are pretty cheap. Unless you want some like rare collector's edition of something or some game that is super hard to find or whatever, but most of the stuff I looked at was anywhere from I think like $5 to $15 covered most of what I was looking at. So that'll be good. Sorry, I'm just trying to open this. Here we go. Hopefully I don't need the lot number or anything because that just came off. Does this count as plastic peeling on like an electronic screen? Oh yeah. So yeah, you just slide this little guy in here. Slide that on there. And then the theory is you can thread your solder through here. Cool. Like so, like that. All right. Oh, I forgot the little sponge. Sponge that came with it in the little tray. And that's just supposed to rest right there. Toss your sponge in there. I'll be right back. Oh. I'm gonna go wet the sponge, grab a drink, be right back. Okay, sponge is nice and wet. It's a lot thicker than the last sponge that came with my soldering kit. So that's kind of cool, I guess. Stick that over there. Just gonna get this iron set up. All right, and I actually got this guy too. I'm a big fan of ordering brown boxes off the internet. And it is a Kato solder smoke ellipses soldering station. So what that actually is the fume extractor. Basically just a little fan with some filters and a metal case. I think I'll need that. Should be pretty self-explanatory. Maybe not. There's already one in there. It's a spare. Alright, so I've never used a fume extractor before, but I figured it's a good thing to start using, especially if I'm going to do any halfway decent amount of soldering. Does anybody keep these things for anything? Because I sure don't. I'm definitely team hook and loop tie. Team Velcro tie. All right. So those are both approximately where they're going to live. I guess we get to the soldering. This guy back here. Figure out a good way to position all this. I want it close to me. Probably pretty good. Get you guys adjusted a little bit. All right. So let me go plug in the fume extractor, the soldering iron, get my flux. Should be good. As far as the flux goes, I'm just using this MG Chemicals 8341 No Clean Flux Paste. Comes with a little plunger. It comes with a like a syringe tip or a needle tip, but it's so thick that I didn't have very great luck using that, so I don't think I'm going to use it this time. Set that aside. Be right back. All right, and we're back. Okay, fume extractor is on. Iron's warmed up. Cool beans. So, I'm not sure how I'm going to go about this yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to try and reflow these guys a little bit because they're kind of wonky, or actually, I wish there was an on-off switch on my soldering iron because I don't want this tip. Fortunately, there's not. It's just a plug-in guy. Let me unplug that real quick. So yeah, I'm not sure if I should go back, reflow those guys there before I move on to the other capacitors. Kind of thinking I probably should. A, for practice, B, so they sit a little flatter, because that would probably be beneficial. Not necessarily that it would work better, but that it would sit better. And just make me feel better. I think I might do that. I think I might pull those off. Pull those off, take all the others off. I think I might pull these guys off. Take these 3 NEC token capacitors off, and then replace them all with these capacitors here. And again, that's just this pack I got off eBay of 470 microfarad, 6.3 volt, quote E case. I don't know what that means, but I have 20 of them, so I have enough to do it. I think I might just do that. This is the GPU, and this is the CPU. So from my understanding, it's just the GPU that suffers the problem that it suffers. And you can see I only replaced the one NEC token capacitor for a couple reasons. One is that I just wasn't sure if it would work or not, or how hard it would be, so I didn't want to take them all off and then have to do them all before I could get it back up and running. And 2 is I saw a couple people just replace the one and it worked for them. And then if it didn't work, they went back and replaced the others, which makes sense. That seems like a good way to do it, so that's how I did it. And again, it did work for approximately 3 weeks or so. So why it just stopped working, I don't think it was, even though this is, Voltar would be ashamed, even though this is ugly, I don't think that's the problem. I think it's still this guy, but I figure while I'm here, I might as well reseat these. Also, some people will angle them like this. Others will angle them sort of north and south as far as this orientation goes. And to do that, you could just scrape away some of this green mask here, and that'll be your negative, and then your positive would still be up here. I don't want to do that. I didn't want to scrape away any of the solder mask, or I believe that's what this green section of the board is called. I didn't want to scrape any of that away, so I went with the angled orientation. So right now, I guess I'm just waiting for the soldering iron to cool down so I can change the tip, and then we'll get back at it. So for now, I'll pause. All right, I got the tip changed. So and the iron's heated up, so we're back. So yeah, I think for now I'm just gonna take those off. These guys right here, I'm gonna take those off, clean that up, take this off, and then solder pieces to all of them. Get the fan turned on, I hope it's not too loud. There you go, got that one off. This one's going to be a little bit trickier. Switch hands here. That part is off. Oh, it's over here. Nope, it's still back there. That one off. So I'm liking this knife edge tip. I did not use it last time, I just used one of the cone-shaped tips. Definitely easier to take off than they are to get on there. All right. Melt that a little bit. No. Once we get some flux on there, it'll flow a lot better. Take some of that off with some of this wick here. I do have a solder sucker, but never used it, and I don't Don't really see the benefit over this wick. Just seems like it'd be a lot easier. It's definitely nicer having this this pan of ice holding the board. Than the board just sliding all around like it was last time I did this. Okay. There we go. I'm not really sure why it gets stuck like that sometimes. I assume it's just because it's not hot enough. So to take this guy off, what I'm going to need to do is get the hot air gun, which is over there, off screen. So yeah, grab that real quick. Wait. So, just the Sequon, Sequone. Might be made by that BitConnect guy. And these tips here are interchangeable. Came with a couple of them. On the back here we have temperature adjustments and on, high, or low. something else out of the way here. All right, so doing okay in there? Yeah. So I'm just gonna squeeze a little bit of this flux under here. Add some heat. Not sure what that beeping is. Hang on just a second. All right, so it just didn't like that power strip it was plugged into. So, back to it. Alright, so the lid's coming off. It's pretty much how it happened last time too. Get the lid off. Try to angle this a bit better. Work. Baxter, what are you doing, Bob? There. Okay, there we go. So this guy here, all right, so we're back at it. Just gonna pick up where we left off. Add a little bit more flux yonder. Get this guy off. that part off. That part. Alright, so I think I just tore that pad off there. That sucks. Bring it down in here. So you can see see right down in there. See how it lifted off? I hope that doesn't mean that it's ruined. So that would suck. And that didn't happen last time. Not really sure why it happened this time, I guess. Guess I was just lifting too hard, or it wasn't hot enough. I'm not really sure. Alright, everyone. Well, as you can see here, I've just got the capacitor off of there. Excuse me, the NDC token capacitor off of there. And this will be the end of the first part of the unfortunate return of the YLOD, or Yellow Light of Death series. This will be at least 3 parts. This is the first part. I have the second part that's already finished recording and everything, and I'll release that shortly, and the third part is almost complete as well. So thanks again for joining me, and I welcome everybody to come back and help me modify, and motivate in the future right here on Make Some Mods. Thanks again.